Kind of like, you know, NASCAR in the water.
And we're ready to rock.
From Marathon, Florida, it's the APBA Offshore Pro Series, presented by Mercury Racing, where the race never stops. Welcome to Marathon, Florida, where the clouds are gathering as we look forward to a day of racing. The APBA Offshore Pro Series, presented by Mercury Racing, where the race never stops. Not because of bad weather necessarily. They can run in rain. They can run in a certain amount of wind. It's thunder and lightning we have to be concerned with. Hello everyone, Dick Griffin along with Martin Sanborn as we watch the flags wave. The boats are starting into the water now. The drivers are wondering what the conditions will be like.
The middle challenge would be having them cancel the race after all the work to get down here and get set up. You know, rather disappointing for everybody, crew included.
Well, you still have to prepare like you're still going through with it. I mean, we haven't stopped. We stayed up all night and changed one motor, and you know, we're going to go out there this morning. We're going to do a couple different tests. I mean, you know, rain isn't going to stop, and if the weather gets good, I don't want to be caught, you know, not being set up properly because I figured it was just going to rain all day. So you have to take it like it's going to happen.
Visibility is the biggest deal for us. Being in those pods, it's really hard to see as it is, much less when the weather's bad.
It really isn't too bad. Once we get up to speed, if it's raining, the water blows right off the windscreen, obviously.
But as long as the ceiling's high enough and the helicopters can fly, then we're going to be okay.
The biggest thing that'll hinder this race at all is whether or not the helicopters can fly.
The boat's wet anyway, so we don't care if we're wet. As long as those helicopters are willing to fly, we're willing to race.
So that's the big question. Medusa is at Paradise Aviation, ready to talk to one of the rescue divers about that.
What can someone expect for the weather today?
Well, it's going to be nasty. We're hoping we've got about a 2-hour window coming up and shortly that we can fly in. Our main concerns for the helicopters, we've got to have 1,000 foot of clearance. There again, you've got, if the wind gets so bad and the water gets so bad, you've got small craft warnings, we won't be able to race.
There you can see a helicopter starting to warm up. It looks like things are starting to clear enough. The rain has stopped. I think we're going to be able to go racing. They are now airborne. We will be back to race in just a moment.
Introducing the world's first truck with 4-wheel steering. The new GMC Sierra Denali.
Now, as if a storm cell comes in and it ends up cutting down the visibility, that's what everybody's concern is. You heard the guys talking about what it's like in the canopies, but let's go to Medusa, who's going to talk with Chairman Michael Allweiss about the watching of the weather all morning.
Most of us who have a stake in this game were up at 5 o'clock this morning watching the Weather Channel. About 10 o'clock, we all met over at Paradise Aviation, where we met with the FAA. We were looking at the radar. We had the Coast Guard call us up from Key West and tell us it looked like there was a break in the weather right about 12 o'clock.
What's going on here? What do you think the prediction's going to be?
Well, based on the direction and the speed, the temperature dropping and the wind, we got about 35 minutes. We could get some rain, but this race is not stopping for anything. We can run in the rain, we can run in the wind. The only thing that's going to stop it is if the wind picks up to over 40 miles an hour and lightning gets in there and I got to pull the helicopters out. But that's the only way. We will run this race and finish it in any kind of conditions.
The story of the day is one of the boats that rolled over, the How Sweet It Is boat. Those guys rolled that boat over yesterday and broke it real bad. They tore the transom of the boat off, lost the engine hatch. Those guys spent the entire night at Home Depot last night using the Home Depot people and West Marine getting all the materials they need. They put that boat back together, and they're out on the race course today.
He was doing a good job out there, and I was, he told me to slow down, but I thought we could just go a little bit longer and then start to pull out of it, and I was wrong.
Oh, was it a hole? Did you feather?
No,
did you feather?
No, it was just smooth water, and just like, kind of like hitting ice, you know, you just come around and it starts skidding around, and by the time I could pull out of it and drop the drives a little bit, we were already went over.
So when you say went over, what happened? Did it come up over on its side or backwards?
It spun out, and then I think it rolled once or twice, but.
So what was your immediate effect? What did you guys do?
Tried to start the motors back up and get going again.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, because we're going to try to finish the race, but then we ran got up and looked outside and says there's a little bit of cosmetic damage on the rear of the boat.
Boy, cosmetic damage. That was a fairly humble assessment of the damage done to that boat, but they spent all night long putting it back together, and we can expect to see great things out of them today. But as we make it back to the 7 Mile Bridge, where yesterday Nick Carter provided us with a beautiful rendition of the national anthem, today we have his younger brother, Aaron Carter, going to present the national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Back in Marathon, Florida. The bridge is getting crowded now. The fans are showing up. The boats are already out on the course. These are the Super Cats. And Martin, we've got the top competitors in the world out here today.
We have the top competitors and we have top equipment. All of these boats are 40-foot catamarans with 800 horsepower engines, all featuring spec cylinder heads and spec carburetors to make the competition equal. On to the Super Cat Light category. These boats all feature 500 EFI Mercuries with Mercury-powered outdrives on the back of the boats, again, set up to keep all the competition equal, but they're running a little less horsepower than the Super Cat.
Take a look at the Super Cats now as they are coming up. Drambuie on ice is closest to you. They are not yet into the start mode. These boats will try to line up. When the starter decides to throw the green flag, he will decide the boats are as even as they're going to get. Green flag will go, and you'll see those rooster tails click high. Inside the hidden agenda, now they are jockeying for position.
Yeah. Facebook's cutting over, slow down, slow down.
Look at the line they've got for these Super Cat boats. They are lined up almost perfectly. We're closing down. We're going to hear a countdown come in, and these boats will be under green flag before we know it. This is where the decisions are made. This is where they take the start.
There it is.
This is where they jockey for position. Now they're coming down and they're still very tight. Watch the boats in the front as they try to get their lines and hold on for that first turn. As they come down in that front straightaway, it looks like DeSanta Chevrolet's moving.
Oh! DeSanta Chevrolet took the lane away from Jamin Jones.
Barely holding on. Hidden agenda, Jamin Jones. They are really lucky that boat stayed in.
Charlie, that right there, you know it? That's all right. Well, you could lose the motor.
Well, I didn't quite catch the first part of that, but he was referring to Charlie Hames and DeSanta Chevrolet. Looked like he completely cut him off, and those guys went right up the back of the rooster tail. A very dangerous situation. You drive up the back of a rooster tail with one of these catamarans, and that boat can blow over backwards, and it sounded to me like they were having engine problems.
We'll find out. We go back on board.
Yeah. He just hosed the shit out of us. Come on, baby, get started. I can't hear anything. Get it started. Son of a bitch. Something's broke. What, my motor? No, we're all right. All right, you just got water in it.
There's the front of the pack. It's Drambuie on ice closest to you. Tommy Bahama on the outside, and trying to come up in between them is DeSanta Chevrolet. What a race this is. They are going all out for the first turn.
You know, this is the kind of water conditions everybody was expecting here in Marathon. Flat water, we literally have a drag race, but it looks to me like DeSanta Chevrolet's got a good little taste of his own medicine as Drambuie on ice and Tommy Bahama come together, and they absolutely squeeze out Charlie Hames and DeSanta Chevrolet.
John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller in the Drambuie on ice start to pull ahead of the father and son team of Mark and Paul Nemchef. We're on board Tommy Bahama.
Looked like Drambuie on ice had the best line to the inside there. You can see the experience of John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller as they make their way around the turn and pull on Tommy Bahama.
Look at how he's riding the outside of that wake. The lead boat is Drambuie on ice laying down the wake, and you can see Tommy Bahama trying to stay strong in position. is your lead boat. Now, can he hold on to it? That's the question. There's plenty of competition out there.
And it looks to me like we have the Drambuie Ice Boat is in the lead with Tommy Bahama behind him in second place.
And now Tommy Bahama is going to have a very sharp inside turn, which is not going to play to his advantage. Drambuie on Ice makes that right-hand turn, clears the buoy, and now Tommy Bahama right behind him is making the turn, gets caught in the rooster tail.
There you go. Hear the radios in the background as race control is telling the helicopters where to line up. We're watching Drambuie and Ice make their way towards the turn. They're heading straight at the 7-mile bridge right now, doing every bit of 120 miles an hour. Watch them enter the turn at the high speed. You can get a perfect chance to see how these catamarans turn as he skips along. Perfect condition. Now John is going to loosen that boat up. He's going to bring the drives out a little bit, bring the tabs out a little bit. Going to accelerate up to about 135 miles an hour on that front straightaway. Boy, that boat is running so well. In the old days, last year, we would have probably seen the Tommy Bahama boat accelerate out ahead of everybody. That boat had a lot of straightaway speed, but APBA put about 300 pounds into that boat, and that appears to be the magic number.
Back with more racing in a moment.
Think these cars aren't athletes?
APBA 2002 Offshore Pro Series presented by Mercury Racing, where the race never stops. Dick Griffin along with Martin Sanborn as we watch the start in the Super Cat lights.
We have a green flag and Snake Man Racing jumping to an early lead. We can see in motion again, but the Super Cat Light inboard taking the lead right now is the Eliminator boat number 15 driven by Bob Leach. But look at the boat right behind him, the red boat, how sweet it is. Those guys spent the entire night putting that boat back together. Not only have they made the start, they're up at the front of the pack.
This is unbelievable faith in the repairs that they made to that boat to be able to push it that hard right off the start without even trying it out on this water. The water is changing constantly. As you know, we had bad weather conditions to start. We never know when it's going to kick up again. In motion now, trying to move up on the pack. The Eliminator boat still out in the lead. As they go down to make their first turn, Eliminator will be on the inside.
Eliminator's got the better line on this turn, but Jerry Sorrentino and Joey Groton have really gotten adept at running that boat. Joey Groton, a lot of experience in running catamarans and taking it to the inboard class this year. And Joey's fantastic when it comes to running the boat. He's won championships. He knows what it's all about. And right now you're getting to see a good deck-to-deck battle with two classic manufacturers of catamarans, the Skater of In Motion and the Eliminator on the inside. And it looks like the Skater In Motion has moved into the lead.
This is exactly what the governing body was looking for when they made the rules in these classes to get even neck-to-neck racing. And you're seeing it here in Marathon, Florida today in several classes.
Be careful. Here we go. Go ahead, left. Go ahead, you're going to chop shit up, we're good. Go ahead, right to the pin. They won't have to go through our wake, perfect. Go left, because there's a pin there.
That was Joey Groton explaining that he had looked in his rearview mirror and watched Bob Leach go right through his rooster tail. Definitely put a hurt on Bob Leach. He went too sharp into that last turn, lost a lot of ground and tried to make it up and got the door slammed on him going into the last.
Meanwhile, Tommy Bahama is still playing catch-up to Drambuie on Ice as they go down one of the long straightaways here in Marathon, Florida. They're trying to get the power back into that boat. We talked earlier about the fact that they had weighted the boat down a little bit more this year. It seemed to make it just perfect. Eliminator, meanwhile, leading in their class at the start of the race, now second to In Motion.
Bob Leach, after running yesterday, you would have thought he got a little bit of an edge on that turn. Very surprised to see that he made that wide turn. And there's his son on the outside, Brent Leach, running the How Sweet It Is boat with John Peterson after putting that boat back together last night. And it's running fantastic, considering it almost had the transom torn off.
A lot of 200-mile-an-hour tape, and wonders it does. We look again at Eliminator as they continue in second place in class. In Motion is out in the lead. There is still great competition to come on this course. A lot of times they will pace it out a little bit, try to find out where they can go. We've had a boat over. Wait a minute, Martin, there's a boat over in the turn.
It looks like we have the Spirit of Puerto Rico, Russ Wilkins and Pepe Lama. The boat is upside down. Those guys have been very aggressive, and it looks like it caught up to them again today. The boat upside down right now. It looks like we have some people in the water. I would expect that we're going to go to a yellow flag as some of the rescue divers are climbing back on the back of one of the rescue boats right now. I see swimmers in the water back behind the boat. We can't tell right now who it is in the water, whether it's Pepe, Russ, or some of the rescue divers.
As soon as we get word, we'll certainly pass it along to you. It's for certain they will go under a yellow flag for this now as they check out the driver and the throttleman in the Spirit of Puerto Rico. There it is. We will continue racing under a yellow. We'll be back in a moment. We have Super Cat Racing now running under a yellow flag.
And as anybody that's familiar with motorsports knows, a yellow flag in this case means that we go under a traditional pace lap where the pace boat comes out, picks up the fleet. In our procedures, these boats will line up 2 by 2. They are not allowed to pass under this condition. What it allows the APBA and their safety officials to do is control the situation by having all their safety assets are deployed on the accident right now over with Russ Wilkins and Pepe Lama in the Spirit of Puerto Rico. It allows them to keep control of the race course, so if there wouldn't be another accident on the race course where we'd have to deploy divers. This way we know where everything is at one point. We keep the boats running around in a controlled condition. Once we get the accident cleared up, then they'll go back to a green flag restart.
And this gives us an opportunity to look back at the start of this race, because if you remember, we had an incident at the beginning where Hidden Agenda caught a rooster tail, and of course to the boat, that's water. So Martin, if you would, let's look back at the start and you take us through it.
Well, as you can see at the very start of this race right here, you've got DeSantis Chevrolets running right alongside WHM, and in the middle there is the Hidden Agenda boat. Now, DeSantis Chevrolet, he's moving towards the bottom of the screen right now, completely looks like cutting off the nose of the Hidden Agenda boat. Now, right now, the Hidden Agenda boat is just starting to climb up the rooster tail. He's getting a lot of water pressure and air pressure up underneath the bow of that boat, and it's lifting the bow of the boat up. You can see he's completely lost sight of the horizon. That's a very dangerous situation. And not only does it put the bow of the boat up in the air, they also get a bunch of water into the inlets of the engines. These engines don't run on water. They run on air and gasoline. And you put water into them, and it tries to condense things, not to mention playing havoc on the ignition system.
Sure hope they're okay.
Well, they were able to stay in the race, and they are competitive, and now they get a little bit of a break because they're tightening up in the pack. So, Martin, I'd have to say they were very, very fortunate.
Absolutely. They could have had a disastrous start to that race, and all that traffic and the nose of that boat riding up on that rooster tail. Not only could they have gone over, they could have eaten an engine up at the same time.
They are certainly counting their blessings, because now they're back up with the field. As we told you earlier, the field will line up 2 by 2. They're on the back straight right now. They are expecting they will get a green flag on the front straightaway. So they will just simply play around out here now, ride side by side, follow the pace boat around the turns, make sure everything is ready to go. When they hit that front straightaway, they will expect the green. There you see the boats, DeSantis Chevrolet. That was the boat that was involved in an earlier incident, WHM Motorsports. Wait a minute.
I just saw a green flag, I think.
They think they saw green. We think we saw green too. Yeah. It looks like they threw it on the back stretch.
Wow, that would definitely be a problem. A lot of these teams weren't going to be expecting that. The way it was announced at the drivers' meeting in the morning was that specifically the start would occur on the front straightaway at the start-finish line, and for some reason, they went ahead and threw the flag on the back straightaway. Looks like Tommy Bahama saw the flag go up, and they're going to take advantage of it, and they're running. These kind of things happen from time to time. There must have been some kind of a reason why they elected to go ahead and throw the flag on the back straightaway, but that's not something these teams were prepared for, and it looks like it caught the Drambuie and Ice team, John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller, a little off guard.
And now John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller and that Drambuie on Ice have a problem, because Tommy Bahama has proven itself very difficult to catch in the past. They have managed to do it because Tommy Bahama has had some very bad luck.
Well, there's a little bit of a technical difference happening between that boat and every other boat in the Super Cat fleet. First of all, we added a little bit of weight to that boat specifically because it is a shaft drive boat that turns with a rudder, as opposed to all of the other boats that are running a number 6 Speedmaster drive. Now that boat allows that power configuration allows the boat to turn a little differently, but it also has put some gremlins into the boat that they've been chasing for the last 2 years.
You could see as they came around that turn, Drambuie on Ice is right on the tail. He's in that rooster tail now. He's got to be careful because he's been on the inside of the course. And if Tommy Bahama closes down that gap just a little bit, he could have problems with the rooster tail. Here's DeSantis Chevrolet. This is Danny DeSantis and Charlie Hames. They have been running very, very solid. This is a new team in a new boat, and they're doing very well.
What a testament to how these boats are running. You saw Tommy Bahama with all of the rest of the Super Cat fleet right on his hip pocket coming around. But you see that Drambuie and Ice has dropped off a little bit. It looked to me like Drambuie and Ice may have got hosed down a little bit in that restart and might have wetted things down a little bit. They got some catching up to do.
Well, as you said before, they're made to run on the water, not under the water. And there there you could see Team Virgin coming around the turn, and now Team Virgin has apparently taken over second place. So that could indicate some bad problems for Drambuie on Ice.
Yes, Drambuie on Ice has dropped off a little bit. We got Team Virgin now running in second place, Trace Martin and Todd Glenworth. And there goes WHM Motorsports, look like deck to deck alongside Drambuie on Ice. What a race we have as these two boats. We have the WHM boat, traditionally a strong rough water boat. You can see how Billy Moff and Joey Imprescia have that boat loosened up as it bounces along the front straightaway along the 7 Mile Bridge. He's got the outside leg. He's taking as much speed as he can with John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller on the inside, taking the tighter line, but have to scrub off some speed. Now WHM Motorsports has moved a little bit into the lead, but keep in mind he's going to be on the outside of this next turn. He's going to have to carry that much more speed to maintain the lead he's got.
And we'll see if Tommy Bahama gives him as much room as that on the inside, because you can see there was a clear lane or two for the inside boat, so he could actually drift out a little bit. WHM Motorsports trying to close in on Team Virgin. Team Virgin now sitting in second place.
Team Virgin had a great line along that. Look at Todd Glenworth and Trace Martin picked a perfect line. They go across the wake line of Tommy Bahama, go to the extreme outside of the race course. It looks like they got pushed out a little bit by Drambuie on Ice, who's now made his way past WHM Motorsports and now making a run for it. It looks like the Drambuie on Ice team is back up and running.
Now, let me ask you this, Martin. You've got 2 experienced drivers in Team Virgin and 2 experienced drivers in Drambuie on Ice. They both know each other. What is the mental capacity of Team Virgin at this point? They know what they got off their hip.
Well, Team Virgin has not been in a lead position for a while on that new boat. They're somewhat new to the big catamaran classes, and to know that they got Hugh Fuller and Johnny Tomlinson on their hip pocket has got to be very nerve-wracking. You know that it's got the adrenaline pumped up. Trace is telling Todd, I'm not going to let up on this thing. You better be turning it, because when we get to the end of the straightaway, we're going to be going fast.
Meanwhile, take a look on the outside. WHM has far from fallen off. They are hanging right in there with Drambuie on Ice. Billy Moff and Joey Imprescia doing a great job.
Well, he's got that boat very loose. You can see how Joey's got the boat as loose as he can get it. Right now, he's giving as much of a run as he can to catch up with Drambuie on Ice, but Drambuie on Ice looks like he's getting ready to go through the back end of the rooster tail of Team Virgin, so he's trying to hold his line. Right now, he's set up for the inside line, but Trace Martin and Todd Glenworth in the Virgin boat can absolutely slam the door on him when they get to the turn 1 at the end of the long straightaway.
And we already have seen the effect of water in the engines of Drambuie on Ice, so that's got to be playing a little bit on Hugh Fuller's mind. He wants to keep that boat right on a tight line on the inside, but inside of that rooster tail, he is now closing it up to the point where he may not have to worry about a rooster tail, because
he went right through the rooster tail. Unbelievable. Looks like he lost a little bit of visibility because he almost went into WHM Motorsports. Looked like Hugh tried to hold that inside line, couldn't hold it, went back through the rooster tail of Team Virgin. Oh, Hugh Fuller has got to be upset with that move.
WHM Motorsports has now moved into third place, but here comes Drambuie on Ice again. Drambuie on Ice is coming up and trying to close that gap. Meanwhile, still holding on to second place is the Team Virgin. But look at WHM Motorsports pouring it on. Joey Impressia's pushing them all the way forward.
Joey Impressia's making a move right now, moving into second place from Team Virgin. That boat is traditionally a rough water boat, and they've got that boat hooked up. They obviously hit their propeller section selection right on the nose today. They are absolutely picking the best line. He's now making the only right-hand turn on the course. He's heading straight towards the 7 Mile Bridge, and he's moved into second place.
He knows he's got Team Virgin off his right hip, but he knows ahead of him. He can see the rooster tail and wake off of the Tommy Bahama boat, and he's taking aim at it now.
Look at WHM Motorsports. He's heading straight towards the bridge. He's going a little bit wide in the turn, but he's carrying a lot of speed as he's got Tommy Bahama in his sights. We got Billy Moff and Joey Imprescia. Billy Moff, one of the best drivers in the sport. He is moving up. He's got that boat as loose as he can. Joey Impressia's trimming the drives out, bringing the tabs up so he can make up as much ground as he can. But here we have on the outside Drambuie on Ice. He's still trying to make up for that aggressive driving move at turn 1 where John Tomlinson had to back out of the throttles to avoid hitting WHM Motorsports. Here we see it right now. Drambuie on Ice took an inside line very harshly, went right through the rooster tail of the Team Virgin, had to back out of the throttles as he came all the way across, lost some visibility, and lost ground to WHM Motorsports.
He lost 2 spots in that move, and he's trying to make him up. We will be back with more racing from Marathon, Florida. The inside and the yellow bun on the outside eliminator. It is father versus son again, Martin.
Just like we had yesterday, and I don't think there's going to be any quarter shown by Bob Leach in the yellow eliminator boat on the outside. You got Brent Leach on the bottom of your screen now, took the wide turn. Boy, there's the experience of father taking the son to school.
And they are now coming up on a left-hand turn. That means that How Sweet It Is going to be on the inside, Eliminator on the outside. They are going to come out on the front straightaway right in front of the 7 Mile Bridge. We talked about this as being one of the best viewing areas as these two boats come into that straightaway. On this turn right here, they are less than 100 yards off of the bridge. That gives the viewers a tremendous view of offshore racing, something we didn't have years ago.
These two boats running deck to deck, and today father's ahead of the son. Yesterday, How Sweet It Is was ahead of Father Bob in the Eliminator boat when he rolled the boat over. But right now, Bob running his brand new bottom. That's a brand new design boat being debuted here. That boat running very well out there just ahead of How Sweet It Is.
We have to remember that How Sweet It Is was involved in an accident yesterday where it actually rolled over completely, went into a turn too hard. It not only caught the sponson and started to spin the boat, but it rolled it over. It came right side up, but there was a lot of damage to the back end. They worked all night long to repair that boat. Look at how they're running it out here today. They have total faith in those repairs.
Well, that's what you get when you have guys putting the boat back together that actually built it in the first place. But Brent Leach and John Peterson doing a fantastic job running that boat right on the hip of Bob Leach in the Eliminator
So
boat.
this is for second place in the Super Cat Lights. Meanwhile, up in the Super Cats, take a look at the Tommy Bahama boat. They're getting a great ride. They started first off of the yellow flag on the back straight, which may have caught some of the other drivers by surprise.
Definitely something that's going to play into the overall conditions of the race, and I'm sure there's going to be some talking about it afterward. But look at WHM Motorsports. He's moved into second place, and he is challenging what everybody has pegged as the boat to beat here at Marathon on this flat water course. Joey Impression, Billy Moff running that big water boat. They've got it hung out absolutely perfect. Look at how the attitude of that boat is flawless. It is as flat as can be, no bounce, no hop. He's got all that horsepower doing nothing but pushing that boat forward.
Pushing it forward and narrowing that gap between first and second place. Tommy Bahama has got to be hearing the gremlins at about this point. Normally 3/4 of the race in, since they brought this boat on the circuit, they have had some kind of a problem that put them out. Right now, they have the boat operating flawlessly, but WHM is moving in. And don't forget about Hugh Fuller and Johnny Tomlinson as they battle the wake action back in third. They're trying to cut that corner down a little bit and try to get inside WHM.
Well, there's a little bit of strategy going on right here. WHM Motorsport, he knows he's got a boat that's a little bit slower than everybody else typically in the straightaway, so he has to carry as much speed as he can. Right now, he's in total offensive mode because he's got to catch Tommy Bahama. Now, if he gets ahead of Tommy Bahama, he's going to switch positions. As he now just moved to the inside, he's going to get a little bit more aggressive, and then he's going to become more defensive, trying to keep somebody from getting by him. And the boat he's going to try to keep from getting by is John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller in Drambuie and Ice. It's right on his
Well,
head.
he moved inside to move outside, if you will, as he made the turn out there. He was on the outside, Tommy Bahama on the inside, but it was a good move because he kept his speed up, and now he's only a matter of about a boat length and a half to 2 boat lengths off the leader.
But he also did that knowing it's going to put him on the inside line going heading straight towards the 7 Mile Bridge right now. So now he has the inside line again. Look at how aggressively he goes around that turn. He's high. Oh, he turned that boat like a perfect little F1 tunnel boat. He is now almost deck to deck with Tommy Bahama as they make their way across the start-finish line.
Now this is forcing Tommy Bahama to push him down a little bit harder also and to run those engines that much harder. WHM Motorsports, without question, Billy Moff and Joey Impression are the story of this race at this point. And look on the outside of them. Now they can see Drambuie on ice because they are almost even, but Drambuie on ice is very far to the outside.
John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller doing everything they can to carry as much speed as they can. That's why they're going wide. Now look at how aggressive Joey Impression is getting, going around those turns so sharp. He's trying to knock off distance. He's forcing Tommy Bahama wide, which is making Tommy Bahama work that much harder. They are kicking up every little bit of speed they can. I'm amazed at how well the WHM boat is running. It is showing top-end speed that we haven't seen in that boat all year long.
As a matter of fact, the last time I saw this was down in Corpus Christi, Texas last year, where it was very rough water, and that being a rough water boat, they had the advantage. But right now, Tommy Bahama's just trying to hold him off. It's a matter of survival at this point. First place is Tommy Bahama, second place WHM Motorsports, and third place is Drambuie on ice, just off your screen to the left.
Looks like WHM Motorsport is within a boat length. He's making a run right now on Tommy Bahama. He might get him before the next straightaway, and about 7 boat lengths behind him is Drambuie on Ice. Drambuie on Ice looks like he's closing up a little bit of distance too. I would expect to see Tommy Bahama fall back into second. Right now it looks like he has fallen into second. WHM has a much better line going into turn 1 on the back straightaway.
WHM Motorsports, Joey Imprescia on the throttles and Billy Moff steering the boat. They go again to the outside to keep their speed high, but this time Tommy Bahama goes right through the rooster tail, comes up on the inside and gains a little bit on him, but now the speed is on for WHM. WHM holding first, Tommy Bahama second, and the Drambuie on Ice still in third.
Always an aggressive move when you take one of these catamarans through a rooster tail. You hope you have the nose down when you go through it. If you got a little bit too much positive angle of attack, when you go through that rooster tail, you can drive up on the back of the rooster tail like we saw at the beginning of the race when Hidden Agenda almost drove up the back of Danny DeSantis. But Paul Nimchoff very aggressively going to the inside. He didn't make up as much ground as he thought he was going to, though.
We're back in Marathon, Florida, and we are back with some of the greatest racing we've seen in offshore. We now see WHM Motorsports in the lead with Tommy Bahama trying to battle it up on the inside in second place.
You've got a tremendous driver's battle going on right now. As I mentioned earlier, it looks to me like WHM has now moved into a defensive driving position. He's doing everything he can to make it tough for Tommy Bahama to get by him. And it looks like Tommy Bahama's dropped off a little bit. We've got Drambuie on Ice moving on the inside. Drambuie on Ice is trying to stay on the inside of that line, but he is right in the rooster tail right now. He wants to make up that ground. Now John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller have moved to the inside to get some cleaner water. They dropped off a little bit, but they were absolutely making a play on Tommy Bahama at that last turn.
Boy, you could see the rooster tail on the Drambuie on Ice as it went high and then laid out, just like the rooster tail from Tommy Bahama. Now, Tommy Bahama was able to keep his speed up, so the rooster tail stayed down a little bit. Tommy Bahama's trying to find it on the outside. You can see the wake off the WHM Motorsports. Look at how Billy Moff is handling that boat in a turn. It's just grabbing, it's gutting its way through there. It's really grabbing the water and holding on to it. It's looking for traction and finding it.
WHM Motorsports had to go wide again. Again, he knows he's got a slower boat overall, so he's got to be as good of a driver as he can to maintain as much speed as he can through the turns. Those guys are working together unbelievably as a team. Look at WHM. He's got that boat loose going through the turns as we saw DeSantis go through across the front. But right now, WHM hopping through the turns parallel to the 7 Mile Bridge as he heads towards the start-finish line in first place.
Great driving, and you see a real veteran team here with Joey Imprescia and Billy Moff in the WHM, and now they're passing some slower traffic on the inside. They are well aware that the second place boat, Tommy Bahama, is just a matter of clicks of the clock off, and then right behind them, less than about 2 boat lengths, is Drambuie on Ice in third, and we can't forget Hugh Fuller and Johnny Tomlinson. But there you see second place, and as they pass the slower traffic, Tommy Bahama has to move out of its lane a little bit. Hugh Fuller still trying to close it down. He's trying to even up as they go down that stretch. He would like to get ahead of Tommy Bahama before they hit the turn. Let's see if he can do it. Tommy Bahama on the inside, the smaller boat on your screen. The larger boat in the center is Drambuie on Ice. Look at the speed these boats are turning, topping 135 miles per hour.
Boy, Drambuie on Ice is running absolutely flawlessly. He's made up a lot of ground. Look at the distance he's put on Tommy Bahama. He is just a little bit behind him right now. He's going to do everything he can to get himself in position to make a run on Tommy Bahama at this next turn as they make their way past the slower Supercat light traffic right now.
How sweet it is the boat in the center there, and he held a center line to let the faster boat go on the inside. He had no choice with the outside boat. There goes Drambuie on Ice. It's almost as though something happened to Tommy Bahama. We talked about it, and he has pulled in. Tommy Bahama has pulled to the infield. Something has happened to that boat. Martin, we were talking about it 3/4 of the way through the race, and it has been their modus operandi for how long? They just can't complete it.
Has to be very frustrating for the father and son team of the Nemchoffs, but now Drambuie on Ice is in second place, and all he can do right now is keep his sights on the leader.
The checkered flag flying out there for the Supercat light class, and it's in motion. Joey Groton and Jerry Sorrentino coming home with yet another win. They had a tremendous ride on the field. They challenged off the start. They took the lead. They never really gave it up. No one else was able to catch them. Meanwhile, while that checkered flag flies, we've got Supercat racing, and it is intense. The people of Marathon, Florida are getting probably the best race. We're in the last lap for the Supercats. The battle is on between WHM Motorsports and Drambuie on Ice. WHM, the yellow boat, Drambuie on Ice, through the rooster tail.
Oh, Drambuie and Ice moved to the outside, but WHM Motorsports sees him. WHM is moving over a little bit. Look at the speed Drambuie and Ice is taking up. WHM Motorsports is going really wide on this turn. He's doing it on purpose. He's trying to push John Tomlinson and Hugh Fuller out. Oh, but they're not having any of that. They move back to the inside. He cuts across his wake as they dash to the finish line. But WHM looks like he's going to hold the lead.
WHM Motorsports comes across to take the checkered flag, and it's by less than a boat length from the Drambuie on Ice. Great job at driving by Billy Moff. Great throttling by Joey Impression. We got to give kudos to Drambuie on Ice, Hugh Fuller and John Tomlinson. They did a great job. They got second place. So WHM Motorsports first, Drambuie on Ice second, and here comes Team Virgin number 94 for third place. And I got to tell you, they got to be happy with that.
No, that's one of the best finishes they've had. But boy, the race of the day, we have never seen anything like that. After 100 miles of racing, you have two Super Cats with less than a second apart, absolutely duking it out to the very last straightaway. Unbelievable driving.
It was unbelievable, and we're going to find out more about how that was in a moment when we come back. Motorsports Billy Moff has just taken a win.
Me and Joey's always been known to be rough water races, and we thank Mercury for really helping us out. We're not well known for being flat water races. You got a couple hundred people on the bridge. They wanted to see a show. Let's give them the show. I'm from New York, and people from New York know how to make a show.
We were at turn 3, the right-hander, and I had the lane, and I had the lead, and I could have slammed the door. And Johnny thought, nice, Johnny, we should be nice, or not, we're going to probably take 2 boats out of the race. We'd probably just wind up in a ball of mess out there. So we left him a lane, and, you know, they're gentlemen, and we were trying to be gentlemen, too. And we came out, and they got the corner, and they beat us, and they kind of chopped us off at the next corner, and I didn't have anywhere to go. So it was tight, but it was good, close racing, and if anybody was going to beat us, you might as well be Billy and Joey, but, you know, makes it interesting. We're tied, I get dead even now, so makes it interesting going into Cape Cod.
Who's your daddy?
Hey, baby.
I tell you what, we ran hard today and ran good, and we felt great out there. I tell you, he's unbelievable. That guy can drive a boat, man. I'm telling you.
One thing that Joey and I didn't discuss at the start, they were pulling us. They had it on us on performance on the start. We don't know what happened. We out throttled and outdrove them, but we did it.
Yeah.
I was really scared at the start there. It just like they were both pulling us, and I'm going, oh Lord, no. But we did it. We came through. We lost our communications while we're milling, so we had no communications, and we're synced. We're dialed, man. We're 2 peas in the pod, man.
Now in Super V's, Media Master was the winner in that one. Out of Smithtown, New York, Matt Beck, and out of Holbrook, New York, Greg Quirk.
The rain never affected us. It hit the windshield, and luckily we had a little bit of salt on it, and that worked to our favor. So the rain was not a problem at all. We were actually pretty happy for it.
Well, Nick Carter in the beginning, that crew, but Nigel, obviously, you know, up until halfway through the race. We seemed to be chasing him down a little bit second half of the race, to the third race really fell out, and we ran out of gas in the end, but in the end it worked out for us. It was a beautiful day.
And on from Super V's to Super Vee Lights, where the power of choice is the HP3 8100 Vortex Series engine, the power of choice. GM's boast uncompromising power through a rigorous testing in extreme conditions to make a more powerful, more fuel-efficient, lower-maintenance engine that's very durable. They boast no trade-offs, no sacrifices, and no compromises, and these are the same engines that are found in GM tow vehicles and a majority of the current marine applications.
Where does the name Vortec come from? The name was actually derived from a combination of the words vortex and advanced GM engineering technologies. GM powertrain engineers were able to incorporate a vortex into the engine's combustion chamber to achieve more horsepower and greater fuel efficiency. Today, Vortec brand engines provide a powerful yet efficient and low-maintenance solution for people who expect their vehicles, boats, and industrial equipment to perform for years under demanding conditions. Today, a number of GM trucks, vans, and sport utility vehicles drive better thanks to the technology behind Vortec engines.
We talk about the power plants and the Super Vee Lights, and on the course, the Super Vee Lights right now are in the milling area. They're awaiting the start of their race. We are going to come back to Marathon, Florida, and carry that race for you. We'll be back. Welcome back to Marathon, Florida for the APBA 2002 Offshore Pro Series, presented by Mercury Racing, where the race never stops. You're looking at some Super Vee Light racing, and as typical of the day, it is neck and neck. Utz Quality Foods Castaway is in the lead. Rodriguez Group is in second place, and the Pier 57 boat is back in third. Pier 57 looking to make a move. They were on the inside of that turn. Now they go right through the wake and move to the outside, coming off of the Rodriguez Group, trying to get up and move into second place so they can at least challenge the Utz Quality Food Castaway boat for first place. Right now, though, the Rodriguez Group, the group that is in, believe it or not, from France, and I do mean the country France, International Racing, is holding on to second place. And again, Pier 57 catches some of the rooster tail, bounces through, holds the position on the inside, and tries to fight the throttles forward to gain speed on Rodriguez Group. But the young men from France hold it in there, and they maintain second place. Pier 57 is back in third. But Pier 57 continues to charge to the inside and see if they can grab hold of that white boat and get past it. Meanwhile, out in the lead, it is the Utz Quality Foods Castaway boat that has run beautifully all day, and not surprisingly so. There are some great folks in there, namely Mitch Miller and Matt Rice. They are experienced. They take the win. Look at this now. Pier 57 has passed Rodriguez Group for second place. They're coming into the final turn, paralleling the 7-mile bridge. Rodriguez Group tries to stay to the inside, is forced to go across the wake. Pier 57 takes second place. Rodriguez Group from France will come in third. Let's go down to the dock and talk to the winners.
Had a great day today. Matt got us a great start. He did a super job throttling. We got to that first turn. We never looked back. It was an unbelievable day. And we needed it. The teams worked hard. We've had some tough luck this year, so we got it all dialed in. And, Benji Brooks, our crew chief, is superb.
We've been racing at Factory 2 the last couple of years, and it's nice to get in the canopy and not have to worry about getting thrown out of the boat. And we just went out there and weren't concerned about the rain or the wind or the water at all. We just wanted to run our own race, and fortunately the boat ran awesome today, and that wasn't even a factor for us.
Oh, we've had a great time. The people's all really been friendly. It was super seeing everybody on the bridge. I think we gave them a heck of a show today, so I look forward to coming back.
Now we switch to the Super Vee Light, still on the course. Vortec Extreme, Steve Miklos, the owner of the boat. Steve Miklos throttling it. Gary DeCicis, both out of Newport Richey, Florida. The driver of the boat. Watch on the outside. Solarized as the boat trying to catch him out there. Now it looks like Steve Miklos is going to maintain a good line, but it looks like Solarized is closing.
Oh, Solarized took a real sharp turn, almost caused Vortec Extreme to hook. They completely lost their line. They must have seen him coming out of the corner of their eye. Solarized had gone wide and tried to square off the turn.
There you can see what happened as he came in. Miklos had to really make a fast decision. Gary DeCicis turned the wheel extremely fast. It actually caused the boat to hook. Well, Solarized comes home, and they've got the checkered flag. Let's find out how they did in the race.
We've been looking for this setup for a long time, and we finally got it right. At the beginning of the year, we looked like, you know, things were going to get real tough. We got out front and just, it was a beautiful thing, man.
Great run. It was a lot of fun. GM Vortec 8100, the thing screams.
GM Vortec just didn't miss it. Didn't miss it at all. I mean, when they mean under hatch, under hood, they mean it. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, the motor was, it's just, we were out there just, it's
no
unbelievable. Yeah, no, it was beautiful, just beautiful.
Whoop it up.
Yeah!
Yeah! Finally!
In the Factory 2, sponsored by Donzi Marine, Harwich Concrete Block, Pier 57, all the way down from Massachusetts to Marathon in the Keys. They take the win. They are very, very happy they made the trip.
That boat's always been a very competitive boat, and it actually shone very well in the smooth waters here off Marathon.
The checkered flag is still up because the second place boat is coming across. It is from Sarasota, Florida, Team Donzi. Now this is important. They take a second place, but they are in the lead in the national points.
Mark was on that wheel, and I had those throttles going, and it was just, the boat was working. Competitive Edge Marine put the boat back together. They did a great job, and we were out there having fun and staying on course.
The easy part was Chris's monotone and delivery and reassurance, coming in the corners, working as a team, backing off on the throttles, taking advantage of that. You know, this is my third race. I need a little support from my throttle guy. You know, you can look in the pictures of the magazines and see what he did last year. So, you know, all in all, It was a great race. I really look forward to the next one, and see you in Cape Cod.
And that's where the next race will be. We want to say thanks to Paradise Aviation, Hawks Cay Resort, Dolphin Research Center. For Sanborn, I'm Dick Crippen. So long from Matt.